Okay, I just wanted to provide a little further explanation about 2E, problems with parallel lines, and you were asked to do these two for your homework. So I'll start with those, and I'll do a few other ones too just to help you out. So what we need to find is x, and in this one, it's a bit tricky because we've got 2x that we're looking for. So the thing we know is these two angles are corresponding angles because they are on the same side of the transversal, and we know that we've got parallel lines here. So that we know that these angles are going to be equal, so we know that 2x equals 60, and so 1x would be half of that as 30, so x equals 30. Easy peasy. Similar idea here, but instead of these two angles being corresponding and therefore equal, they are actually co-interior, and co-interior angles add up to 180 degrees. So 3x is going to be equal to 180 degrees minus 60 degrees. 3x is therefore then equal to 120 degrees. And then 1x is 1/3 of that, and that makes 40. That's a 4. There you go. Now, going on to do some other ones that you weren't asked to do, but if you want to try, maybe have a pause and think about how do these two angles relate to each other? Are they co-interior, meaning they're inside, and make sort of, I'll use a different color, make sort of a C shape, C for co-interior. They do that, which means they add up to 180. Or are they corresponding, like these guys were, meaning they're equal, and the other one is alternate, being on alternate sides of the transversal within the parallel lines? Well, clearly this one, these angles are one inside, one outside the parallel lines. And remember to check if they're parallel. If this isn't parallel, it doesn't work. And they're on the same sides of the transversal. I'll just extend that out to really show that. So we know that these two angles are going to be equal. So 2x is equal to 120 degrees. 1x is what we're solving for, is half of that, and that's 60. Over here at 2D, it's starting to look a little bit trickier, but it's not really that tricky. Remember how I said there were kind of a couple different corresponding angles, co-interior angles, and then these guys. These guys are on alternate sides of the transversal, both inside the two parallel lines, so that are actually going to be equal to each other. So x plus 20 equals 50. And so if we take away 20 from each of these, x equals 30. We're having a great time. So it's really all about using what we know about parallel lines. Now this one is a little bit trickier here, 2E. So for this one we know that we have 70 over here. Let's make that red. So that's got to be some use to us because we know we have parallel lines, and we want to find x over here. So the easiest thing to do is to recognize that 70 and this angle are equal because they are corresponding angles. So we know that that's 70, and we know that these are 70 and x minus 10, those are supplementary, so they add up to 180 degrees. So, let me start that again. So, x minus 10 equals 180 degrees minus 70, which equals 110. Now here's the tricky part. If we want to take 10 off of this, we actually have to add 10. So x minus 10 plus 10 gives us x. And so we simply add that 10 to the other side. That equals 120. That's how we sort of make these things equate. So x in this case is 120. This one is slightly tricky, but we have parallel lines, so we know certain things will work. There's two things you know actually. You could treat this as looking at it like it's a triangle or a triangle. Isn't that pretty? And then you know that that's going to equal 180 degrees. If you do that, then you know that this angle and this angle are actually equal to each other and are 60. And then you could work that out from 180 degrees minus 80, 60, and 4x. But let's do it another way using just the angles that we know and love. If I look at these two together as one angle, then that's going to be co-interior with 80. So let's work with that. So 4x plus 60 plus 80 equals 180. And just like we did up there, where we took numbers from one side, over to the other side, we're going to do this here. So 80 then, 4x will be equal to 180 minus 80 minus 60, which is easy. That's 100 minus 60, which is 40. But remember, that gives us 4x. So the answer to what 1x is, x by itself equals 10.